Hello, everybody. Today, we are going to look into the Thinking Routine Compass Points, which is a part of the Project Zero program under Harvard Graduate School of Education. In the Thinking Routine toolbox, there were many thinking routines like circle of viewpoints, step inside, compass points, sentence phrase word, headlines, connect action challenge, 3 to 1 bridge, tug of war, and many more. Project Zero's visible thinking routines are simple structures, for example, a set of questions or a short sequence of steps that can be used across various grade levels and content areas. What makes them routines versus mere strategies is that they get used over and over again in the classroom so that they become part of the fabric of classroom culture. Thinking routines provide structures and scaffolds that must be deliberately activated by the teacher at first initial phase and over time by the learner in the developing phase and then consciously deployed to achieve a goal that is the advanced phase. Coming to compass points, it is a routine for examining propositions. The compass points routine helps learners to examine an idea or proposition from different angles of perspectives, identify areas where more information is needed, evaluate and make judgments about the topic. Compass points. We have what excites you about this idea or proposition, what's the upside, that is the E. What do you find worrisome about this idea or proposition, what's the downside, that's the W. What else do you need to know or find out about this idea or proposition, that is the N. What is your current stance or opinion on the idea or proposition? What should your next step be in your evaluation of this idea or proposition? What suggestions do you have at this point? Compass Point's routine emerged from the focus on the process of decision making to explore the pulses and minuses of the situation and identify areas that needed to be further investigated. Leading to that, an individual or a group can as decider identify things that excite them about the proposal that they find worrisome as their starting point. Then they identify that they need to know more to go forward. Having E, W, and N, their attention moved to S of the compass point. So the final step of identify stances, steps, or suggestions was decided. The learning objective in this routine is students are generally sharing their thinking at each step along the way before moving on to the next one. This allows the class to build on the group's thinking and often results in richer discussions. It can be very useful to document the thinking at each stage. In purpose application and launch, if we see the purpose, what kind of thinking does this routine encourage? The routine enables groups of learners to consider an idea or proposition from different angles. By exploring issues from multiple perspectives and identifying areas where more information is needed, individuals can avoid rushing into judgment. Coming to its application, how it should be applied, when and where can I use it? To explore various sides and facets of a proposition or idea prior to taking a stand of expressing an opinion on it. When a topic includes a dilemma or differing points of view, that is where you can apply this. How do we launch it? What are some tips for starting and using this routine? Well, the routine needs to be modeled with the whole group initially, with responses recorded for the entire class to see. This enables students to build on each other's ideas. You might record responses using the directions of a compass to provide a visual anchor. That is, draw a compass in the center of the board and then record responses corresponding to the appropriate direction of E, W, N, or S. It is generally easiest for students to begin with what is exciting or positive about the idea or proposition and then move to worrisome and need to know. Students might be asked to write down their individual stance or suggestion for moving forward after the initial group discussion. You can also ask students to make an initial judgment or evaluation of the idea or proposition before doing the compass points and then ask them how their thinking has changed after discussion using the compass points routine. You can use this thing you can use this thinking routine for assessments as well. How can this routine be used? Well, routine provides many opportunities to observe learners' flexibility in considering different aspects of a problem. Are learners able to think beyond their immediate reactions and positions? Are they able to generate multiple responses at each juncture or just one? Noticing how learners manage need to know step enables you to see how they analyze the information they have and identify what else is needed to further understanding. These are some of the examples of compass points used as class reflections. This is a template that we used. This is one of the examples shared by a child in grade 5. The example was from math multiples. The task given was the students shared their ideas and propositions on multiples from four different angles. The next example is from science in grade 5. This The students were asked to put forth their understanding about the two pictures, one on drought and another with lush green farms, and they shared. This is the next example. This was from grade 3, where the students were asked to describe happiness. This is another example from grade 4, where the students were asked to write their thoughts on natural resources and how to save them. This was another example from grade 8. Light, context, refraction. Lesson was light, context was refraction, and the task was how do rainbows form. This is a video on compass points where they are discussing about where the person is
This
telling
is the
you all
eighth and
about.
final installment of a series of Clips videos around thinking routines.
Yes.
The Compass Points thinking routine focuses on examining theories, hypotheses, and arguments. It helps students work through and/or evaluate possible ideas. Students often struggle when faced with multiple possibilities and/or sides. Compass Points facilitates decision-making or when students are expected to express an opinion. Expository writing, academic controversies, formal debates. These are all areas wherein this thinking routine may be of use. Given the multi-step nature of this routine, it is best presented as a whole group. Scaffolding will also allow students to build on each other's ideas. It is strongly suggested that educators create a visual anchor chart, drawing out and labeling a compass rose. Start in the east with E for exciting, something that is positive and or excites you. Move to the west and worrisome. What might be the downside to this idea or thought? Head north and consider what we need to know, what additional information is needed in order to fully evaluate this idea. And end in the south. Consider suggestions moving forward. What is your stance on the issue? Once again, start in the east and think of something that excites you. Move to the west and share what might be the downside to the idea. What are you worried about? Heading north, we consider what do we need to know? What additional information is needed in order to fully evaluate the idea? Always end in the south. Consider suggestions moving forward and take a stance. What is your stance on the issue? Looking to further challenge your students? Consider making an initial judgment before completing the Compass Points routine. This is a great means of discussing how their thinking may have changed, thus tying in multiple thinking routines. That brings us to the end of the clip series about thinking routines. I hope that you have found it useful.
Thank you.